Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another weather update. With all of my focus being on Beryl over the last several days, I have completely forgotten to talk about the absolutely historic heat wave that has been baking the western third of the United States for the last week or so, and we still have excessive heat watches, warnings, and heat advisories covering the entire western quarter of the United States in the pinks and the orange shaded areas. So we're going to be taking a look at some of these in this video. Taking a look at the excessive heat warning for Spokane, Washington. What dangerously hot conditions during the day with little relief overnight. Highs between 100 to 108, overnight lows will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s. Where portions of north and north-central Idaho and central east, central, northeast, and southeastern Washington. When until 10 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Wednesday, impacts heat-related illnesses increase significantly during extreme heat. So for areas of eastern Washington, this has been a very dangerous heat that has been ongoing for the last week. So make sure you're continuing to stay in the shade during the hottest part of the day, drinking plenty of water, and staying inside whenever possible. Looking at Seattle, Washington, Seattle, Washington is expected to get to the mid to upper 80s today, which is unusually warm for Seattle, Washington. There's a heat advisory in effect until 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time this afternoon. Looking further south across Boise, Idaho, we have an excessive heat warning in effect there. For the excessive heat warning, dangerously hot conditions through Friday expected, especially in the lower elevations. For the excessive heat watch, dangerously hot conditions possible. Where portions of southwest and west central Idaho and southeastern Oregon. For the excessive heat warning until midnight Mountain Daylight Time, 11 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time Friday night for the excessive heat watch from late Friday night through Sunday evening. Very, very dangerous heat ongoing for Boise, Idaho. Make sure you're staying inside as much as possible during the hottest part of the day and drinking plenty of water if you live in Boise, Idaho. Taking a look at Salt Lake City, Utah, we have excessive heat warnings in effect here as well. What dangerously hot conditions with high temperatures forecast between 100 and 105 degrees each afternoon. Overnight recovery will be poor with minimum temperatures forecast in the mid to upper 70s. Where the Wasatch Front, the Tooele, and Rush Valleys. When from 11 a.m. this morning to midnight Mountain Daylight Time Saturday night. And the additional details, this is a long duration dangerous heat wave that is likely to set records. Record warm overnight temperatures can cause heat stress to build for those without adequate cooling access. So very, very a serious warning from the National Weather Service for Salt Lake City. Make sure you're taking this heat wave very seriously and taking the precautions I've mentioned. Drinking plenty of water, staying inside during the hottest part of the day, staying in the shade if you live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and pretty much the western half of Utah in general. Moving down towards Las Vegas, Nevada. Excessive heat warning there. They reached 120 degrees on Sunday, setting an all-time record high in Las Vegas. What dangerously hot conditions for an unusually long period. High temperatures of 105 to 111 in the Owens Valley, 110 to 118 in Las Vegas, Panrump and Barstow, and 122 to 129 at Furnace Creek in Death Valley National Park. Where in California, Death Valley National Park, Owens Valley, and the western Mojave Desert. In Nevada, Las Vegas Valley and western Clark and southern Nye County until 11 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time Friday. And additional details, hot temperatures overnight will mean little relief from the daytime heat, especially in Las Vegas and Death Valley, where low temperatures may not fall below 90 degrees for several days. Very, very dangerous heat ongoing across south central Nevada. Make sure you're taking the precautions I have mentioned, drinking plenty of water, pretty much staying inside at all times, as we're not going to be dropping below 90 at night in the Las Vegas area, and staying in the shade during the hottest part of the day. Looking at Phoenix, Arizona, excessive heat warning for Phoenix for dangerously hot conditions, afternoon temperatures of 110 to 117 degrees, major to extreme heat risk. Overexposure can cause heat cramps and heat exhaustion to develop, and without intervention can lead to heat stroke. Portions of south central and southwestern Arizona until 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Friday. So you're more used to it down in Phoenix, but still take the proper precautions to protect yourself from this extreme heat wave, even in south central Arizona. Looking at Tucson, Arizona, we have a similar excessive heat warning to Phoenix, with the temperatures being 108 to 112, up to 114 in the western deserts. Make sure you're taking your heat precautions in Tucson, Arizona as well. And then we're going to take a brief look at the Grand Canyon real quick, as unfortunately, we have had some people die due to the excessive heat hiking in the Grand Canyon. What dangerously hot conditions with temperatures of 105 to 110 degrees below 4,000 feet, where Lake Powell near Page and Marble and Glen Canyons until 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 9 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time Friday. Most individuals will be at risk for heat-related illnesses without effective cooling or adequate hydration, especially with prolonged outdoor exposure. So if you plan on hiking in the Grand Canyon, I would do it very early in the morning or very late in the evening, as hiking during the day could result in heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Taking a look at Los Angeles, California, we have excessive heat warnings covering pretty much all the state of California. Dangerously hot conditions with high temperatures of 98 to 108 degrees. Warm overnight conditions are expected much of this week, limiting nighttime relief from the heat, where a portion of southwest California went until 9 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time Thursday. And looking at Los Angeles, we have a heat advisory in effect until 8 p.m. this evening for temperatures up to 92 degrees, and this includes downtown Los Angeles. Moving up into the Central Valley, the San Joaquin Valley of California, excessive heat warnings covering most of the San Joaquin Valley, as I mentioned earlier. What dangerously hot conditions with high temperatures of 105 to 112 expected. Limited overnight relief with lows mainly in the upper 60s to lower 80s. Widespread major heat risk with localized extreme heat risk where southern Sacramento Valley and northern San Joaquin Valley, when from 11 a.m. this morning to 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time Friday. Additional details: heat could significantly impact outdoor activities. Area waterways will continue to be cold, creating dangerous conditions for those seeking relief in rivers and lakes. So if you live pretty much across most of California, make sure you're staying inside during the hottest part of the day, drinking plenty of water, and staying inside whenever possible. But this has just been an absolutely historic heat wave that has been baking the West over the last week and will continue to do so for at least the next 3 days. Taking a look at Billings, Montana, we could be seeing high temperatures between 95 to 104 in portions of central, south central, and southeastern Montana and north central Wyoming from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time Thursday. So make sure you're watching out for the heat up here as well. And unfortunately, it is not just the West that has been dealing with heat. We have heat advisories to add insult to injury in areas where Hurricane Beryl has produced millions of power outages across Houston for heat index values up to 101 degrees for portions of south central and southeast Texas until 8 p.m. this evening. So really unfortunate situation setting up for my friends in southeastern Texas that have been affected by a Hurricane Beryl. And this goes to the East Coast as well. We have heat advisories in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area for heat index values up to 107 degrees expected for Broward and Miami-Dade counties until 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this evening. More heat advisories in East Central Florida. Temperatures, or the heat index values, will be up to 110 in a lot of East Central Florida, including Orlando, Daytona Beach, Palm Bay, Port St. Lucie. And then across the Carolinas, heat advisories for temperatures up to 100, or heat index values up to 107 for today. And then up in Virginia, we also have heat advisories for heat index values of 105 to 109 degrees for portions of southeast Maryland, northeast North Carolina, and central and eastern Virginia until 8 p.m. this evening. And then up towards Washington, D.C., we have excessive heat warnings here for dangerously hot conditions with heat index values up to 112 until 8 p.m. this evening. Extremely dangerous heat for the Washington, D.C. area. And finally, taking a look at the Philadelphia area, excessive heat warnings there for heat index values from 104 to 108 until 8 p.m. this evening. And New York City, you could be seeing you're under a heat advisory as well. Heat index values up to 99 degrees in the Bronx, Kings, New York, Manhattan, Northern Queens, Richmond, Staten Island, and Southern Queens County until 8 p.m. this evening. So make sure you're taking this heat very, very seriously if you're under a heat advisory, and especially an excessive heat warning if you live across the west, the east, and in the areas impacted by Beryl in southeastern Texas. Thanks for watching today's update on the heat. Please stay safe, hydrated, and cool, and have a wonderful day, my friends.